Director. It is my privilege to introduce Professor K. Palanivelu, sir, an eminent academician and researcher in the field of climate change and environmental studies. He is currently serving as the director of the Center for Climate Change and Environment (CCCE) at VIT Chennai. Professor Palanivelu has a distinguished career spanning more than 3 decades. He previously served as professor at Anna University, Chennai, where he also held the position of director, Center for Climate Change and Disaster Management for nearly 8 years. He obtained his PhD from IIT Madras, specializing in the study of arsenic separation of and determination. With extensive contributions in pollution control, CO2 mitigation, and environmental chemistry, Professor Palanivelu has guided more than 20 PhD scholars and published over 160 journal papers with an H index of 47, earning more than 10,000 citations. He has successfully completed 12 sponsored projects worth over 5 crores and continues to guide ongoing doctoral research. Professor Palanivelu's outstanding contributions have earned him several prestigious awards, including the Senior Environmental Scientist Award in 2018, the TANSA Award in Environmental Science in 2021, and the Hayosi Ecological Award 2008, among many others. He has also been conferred with the DSc degree by Baradiyar University for his significant research contribution. Apart from his academic pursuits, he has traveled widely for international collaborations and currently serves as the member of SCAC Tamil Nadu appointed by the Government of India. We are indeed honored to have such a distinguished personality with us today. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Professor K. Palanivelu, sir. Now the session is yours, sir. Please.
Sir, you are on mute, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for your nice words about me, madam. Thank you for inviting me for this wonderful talk, which is a current need. Many education institutes across globe are doing this, focusing on this particular energy and climate change. So thank you for the management of this university for the opportunity on the first day to speak on this topic. The topic given to me, let me try to share, as on energy. Just a minute. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Is it visible, sir?
Full mode also. Yes. So the topic given to me is on climate change. What are the sources? What are the impacts? And what are the commitments, both global and our national commitment, and how we can, especially India, can achieve towards net zero on this topic. Just if we look at the topic, that is energy, sustainability, and climate change, especially the current energy scenario that is based on thermal energy, definitely it is inseparable the climate change. Okay, it is obviously they will travel together. Current energy we are producing, and then the consequent climate change. So that's why sustainability comes in between. The previous sessions also speaker mainly spent a lot of time on energy management aspects, and sustainability is a key linking these two. How to separate or how to eliminate the climate change. There are two aspects, the SDG related thing. One is goal number 7, clean energy, as well as affordable energy. If you are moving towards that, definitely climate change is not a problem at all. The other one is directly linked to climate action. That is goal number 13, That's what we are going to focus on, these two aspects. Of course, mainly it will be a fundamental to all of you. Believe all of you had your dinner? No. Okay. It's all muted, I know.
No, sir.
Okay,
After our
okay.
session only, we will.
Right. Today, the Ayudha Puja starting day, Navaratri. I don't know, many of you might have had some prasadam, sandal and all, but dinner to wait. So this is what IPCC summary of what is climate change. That is warming of the climate system unequal. Okay, not everywhere uniform equal warming is happening, as is now evident from very absurd information like as increase of global average air and ocean temperature. Okay. Both air temperature, that's atmospheric temperature, as well as sea surface temperature, both are continuously increasing. And then widespread melting of ice and snow and rising global average sea level is continuously increasing sea level also. So this is what summary of IPCC that describe the whole aspects of what is climate change impact. Just to we move into a little bit more about this. What is climate? This is a weather-related information that refers to time and space pattern of what are the precipitation level, what are the temperature, when, what are the solar intensity, all these things, we call it as a climate-related. Just look at the temperature and precipitation across India. We need not go to the global. Just let's compare the southern part of India, Tamil Nadu, as well as the other side, northern part, if you consider Jammu and Kashmir. Do you have the same temperature right now? No, it differs. Okay. And the Tamil Nadu is entirely different from Jammu and Kashmir, where Jammu Kashmir, mostly they have a cool climate, whereas we have, depending on the season, mostly warm climate. Okay. Precipitation patterns also differs across India. This is natural. Okay. But what is climate change? That's a climate. This is what is a change. That's what about the average weather pattern at a given point in time over a long period, not 2 or 3 years. At least typically 30 years we have to observe what are the temperature that particular region, that's minimum, maximum, and what are the rainfall, all this thing. If we analyze, if there is a change, then we call it as climate change. Okay. And normally we expect the weather to change a lot from day to day. From noon to midnight, we consider definitely about 10 degrees Celsius in temperature differs. Okay. But expect the climate to remain relatively constant. That is, a particular season, if we take, the temperature should remain constant. That's what it means. Okay. But if you take a long-term average, it's more or less, it should remain constant, but day to day, it may vary. But typically, if you compare a decade or 3 decades normally, if there is a change in all this, definitely we call it as a climate change. And climate change occurs when the weather pattern change, that is with the winter months getting warmer, as well as space also. There is monsoon occurs further north, also we call it as climate change. I believe all of you are familiar with this diagram. What is the greenhouse effect actually? That's a warming effect, how it is happening. We know our Earth receives radiation from the sun. What about the incoming light? Mostly it is all visible light. It comes and hits the Earth surface and reflected back. Usually the radiation, what is coming from the sun, electromagnetic radiation, usually it will be short wavelength. The moment it is reflected back into the space again, we call it as a long wave radiation because some amount of energy is spent. So definitely the short wavelength is converted into long. This is naturally happening. But the moment some of the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide comes in between, if they are present in atmosphere, this is going to be a problem. Because these gases are we call it as a greenhouse gas. They trap IR radiation, infrared radiation, and that is coming from electromagnetic radiation, comes from the sunlight, that is captured by this greenhouse gases, because these are all, we call it as in physics, IR active molecule. Any molecules, if they have a dipole moment that is positive and negative, definitely they can be activated by IR light. The IR light is a long wave, energy is very low, it's merely excited. It cannot break the bond or something. So what does this? It excited carbon dioxide, methane, and as a result, some of this light is converted into heat energy. So what is happening? The overall summary is light energy, especially long IR radiation, is converted into heat energy. That's what leading to warming. What are the gases in the atmosphere do this work? Carbon dioxide is the main culprit. Methane can do. Nitrous oxide. These are all naturally occurring. But the main worry is sulfur hexafluoride and other CFC-related compounds. These are all mostly synthetic compounds. They also try to escape into the atmosphere if they are present. These compounds are IR active, capture the IR light, convert this light into heat. That's what happening. We call it as greenhouse effect, and that leads to warming. So this diagram also summary of whatever just now I told you, and we can compare earlier one also, and the other side, what is industrial era. That is before. The left side to me, I don't know how you are looking at there, is the left side. Normal greenhouse gases are present, not much, normal concentration. There also heating will be taking place. Now the other side, right side to me, as in which the greenhouse gases are present, mainly because of industrial activity, and they are emitter, and these try to rise the temperature more compared to the pre-industrial era. That's what that diagram summarizes. So now, what are the factors regulating this global warming effect? One is availability of these greenhouse gases. What are the concentration? Whether it is parts per million or parts per billion or parts per trillions, what is the concentration? And the other factor determining this warming is lifespan of the gas in the atmosphere. Is it a short-lived forces or a long-lived forces in the atmosphere? That is the lifetime. How long it persists, that's also important. And the other factor is global warming potential. Okay. What are the warming potential of this greenhouse gases that is trapping the heat? And the radiative forcing or the climate forcing is another factor that also drive all this warming effect. So concentration of these gases, their lifetime, warming potential, and radiative forcing, all these things. The radiative forcing, there are factors which can cause warming effect as well as cooling effect also possible. It depends on the nature of the substance. Yes. So this is what radiating forcing. Have a look at this diagram. And you can see there the naturally occurring carbon dioxide, methane, and also anthropogenic compounds like halogenated organic CFC compounds. All these things are present. Okay. And the radiative forcing also increases. 1950, you can see there, 1980, 2011 goes on increasing because these amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere keeps on increasing continuously after the Industrial Revolution. Okay, and the top of this, you can see this all this chemical compound. Certain things on the right side, these are all causing warming effect like carbon dioxide, ozone, nitrous oxide, nitrate, methane, all these things causing a positive one, including methane, all these things. At the same time, you can see there are few things in the bottom which is shown as negative side. That's a cooling effect. These are the particles, if they are present in the atmosphere, causes cooling effect. Okay. And the same particle, a simple logic is, what is the color of this substance? Okay. Black carbon, carbon soot particle, if they are present in the atmosphere, they can capture this, again, warming effect. And there are a few particles, okay, and mostly white color substances like ammonium sulfate, and they produce cooling effect. That is what the other side of this one. So it depends on the nature of the particle, whether it is warming or cooling, depends on usually color and the particles also. That is aerosol particles. You can see there, the dark colored one, that's mainly because of black carbon normally comes from diesel engines. Okay, that's also contribute towards thing. Of course, there is a short-lived force. Whereas if you look at the other thing, they are long-lived forces that remain in atmosphere for 100 years or so. Yes. So this is a summary of all this warming potential. What are the concentration before industrial era, and what are the concentration current, as shown there. You can see before the industrial era, it was about 278 ppm carbon dioxide. Methane was about 729 parts per billion. And look at the concentration carbon dioxide. It is also in that 2021. That is carbon dioxide concentration alone, 416 ppm parts per million. Now it crossed 425. Similarly, if you look at all these concentration, okay, where synthetic chemicals were zero, and now it's all appearing here. The lifetime also, if you look at it, it varies. Carbon dioxide varies. Sometimes it is reacted, gets removed shortly. Methane 12 years, nitrous oxide very long term, 900 years, and many things are 1,000 years also possible. And look at the sources. Summary of this. Various greenhouse gases, where it is coming from. If you look at carbon dioxide, the main culprit is a fossil fuel burning. That's what the energy in the seminar focuses. We have to move towards a greener transition. Now we are in the transition stage of moving from a thermal fossil fuel based one towards a renewable energy. That is what one of the key aspects of making our country, our globe, climate compatible. And various industrial activities also, I will go to that elaboration a little later. Land use change also causes. But whereas synthetic chemicals is a main, they have very long lifetime. That's what the Montreal Protocol and all, CFC, elimination of CFC is now in force. This also summarizes what are the greenhouse gases, major carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated. You can see the global warming potential is also shown here, and the contribution, their contribution also, carbon dioxide is a dominant one. Nearly 3/4 is coming from burning of fossil fuel. That's the main culprit. We have to pay attention towards this. And of course, other things also. So this is a small comparison between what is climate change and global warming. I'm not going to the details of this. Just to, global warming is a rising of the average temperature over time. And if you want to make a comparison with climate change, occurring climate pattern of the globe or region over a long period of time, whereas global warming continuously increasing trend, whereas this is a change in the pattern of warming effect over a long period of time. The causes, if you look at it, global warming mainly due to human activities, whereas in the case of climate change, it is naturally occurring causes also contributed here. That's a key difference between climate change and global warming. So naturally occurring plus human induced one. mainly because of human-induced is the main culprit for warming effect. So little go into the elaboration of the sources. If you look at it, major sectors in India is the energy sector, and the global thing also we are an energy producer emitting more carbon dioxide. Then comes the industrial sector, where again huge amount of fossil fuels are used. That also, along with the energy industry, they contribute. Transportation sector, still we use diesel, petrol. Agriculture sector also, they emit, apart from carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. Land use changes also cause this. And waste, especially solid waste, where organic materials are there, along with the proteins and other thing. If you dump these organic matter also emitted as a carbon dioxide as well as methane, plus nitrous oxide also may come from the waste. Suppose a nitrogen-rich protein type of waste materials are dumped, and due course of time, they will also be emitted as nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. So this is a percentage of contribution of a different thing. And you can see the blue one, the burning of fossil fuels for energy sector is a major one contributing towards. Other things also there, but main culprit is energy. So that's why globally all countries, including India, they are paying attention, shifting towards or transition towards greener energy. Just a comparison with the main emitter. If you compare the global greenhouse gas as per the 2019 inventory, our contribution, we are about 7% globally. If we compare, even though our population is very high, we are the number one, overtaken China. Our contribution is only 7%. Next, China, you can see they're 32%. They are the main culprit now, major emitter of carbon dioxide, and the most developed USA also. They cost about 13% of greenhouse gas contribution. And there also, you can see there, the contribution breakup of USA is shown. The electric power and industry alone contribute towards 50%. Transportation, if you combine everything, all greenhouse gases, it's all nearly 3-4. And on the right side is our country, nearly energy alone, we are producing 3/4 of energy. We are emitting carbon dioxide in the other sector, industry and waste and agriculture sector also we contribute emission of not only carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide and methane as well. So carbon dioxide is a main culprit. Burning of fossil fuel, biomass also, we call it as carbon neutral. Still, if you burn biomass, that also emit carbon dioxide. Okay? And nearly globally, if you take, more than 60% comes from carbon dioxide by energy consumption. And because of this major contributor globally, the warming potential of carbon dioxide is given as 1. And rest are compared to that. The radiative forcing factor, rest are compared with this methane, about 30, and close to 270 is a nitrous oxide. And realizing this all, USA not now, EPA sometime back 10 years or 15 years back, they introduced standards for the first time in the USA. If they emit, particular industry in a year, if they emit 25,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year, then they have to go for capturing the excess emitted carbon dioxide, have some capture measure to minimize the emission of carbon dioxide. Okay? So that's the first time they introduced, but of course now it is not enforced. All of us know why it is. Not only a tax, even the US president against this, whatever the science called greenhouse effect or global warming or climate change. He is not for it. So this is a observation where again, USA is monitoring the carbon dioxide emission in the atmosphere. And you can see that this year it crossed nearly 425, it crossed. A lot of fluctuation is there, you can see, and the curve also, but average about it crossed 425 ppm this year beginning itself. That's the indication, even though globally we are talking, not much serious effort is made. Not even it is stable, it goes on continuously increasing, mainly because of burning of fossil fuels. So if we look at the main culprit, flue gas composition, where it comes is from power plants. You can see the summary of this table, the carbon dioxide concentration, depending on what is the material used for burning, it differs and varies from about 3 to 13% carbon dioxide may be there. That means it is a huge amount, 13%. 1% is 10,000 ppm of carbon dioxide. Okay, so huge amount of carbon dioxide is emitted. That's why globally the concentration is going up. I don't know whether somebody is going to speak on carbon dioxide capture process. I'm not sure, but definitely this has to be. That's what net zero emission, later on I will talk about it, not about carbon dioxide capture. Definitely we have to do. So this is our energy emission scenario 2019 from various sectors, including thermal power plant and industries, and we emit huge amount of nearly 23 lakh 74,000 million tons of carbon dioxide we emit into atmosphere. And the same thing in the year 2020, it is going on increasing 23 to 29. Okay, and you can see that this is a data I have taken from Niti Aayog. Those who are interested, all this information as far as our country emission, you can check all this. It is Niti Aayog website they have given, and I have taken, this is a 29 lakhs million tons of carbon dioxide goes into atmosphere. Of course, the yellow color one, you can see again, energy sector is the main culprit, apart from industrial process, waste, and agriculture also. This is a 2020 data. And these are some of the sector-wise emission of carbon dioxide. Okay. Again, it's all energy related process. You can see here coal gasification, nature gas-based hydrogen production, cement, iron and steel industry, power sector, all this, they contribute a huge amount of carbon dioxide. Okay. And methane, the right side, if you see, nearly 81% comes from energy. And of course, it includes industrial process also. And this is a summary of total number of power sector, number of power plants, nearly 271 thermal power station alone, and assuming a 330 days of operation, that's emission calculation, million tons per year comes from 1,060 from energy alone. And the carbon dioxide composition and other things, you can see there, nearly roughly 10% of carbon dioxide come from our energy also. This is again in the year 2022, energy curve, including transport sector, all these things are shown here. You can see continuously it is increasing. It's a global data. It's provided by International Energy Agency in 2022 data. Everything, it's not coming to a halt or something, it goes. Okay, their aim was it should stabilize around 2030. Whatever the increase should stabilize. Otherwise, we cannot keep whatever the United Nations intended, keeping the warming below 2 degrees Celsius is impossible. This is again our Indian energy sector, industrial emission of contribution from various industries. It goes on increasing. Okay, you can see here the amount of carbon dioxide emitted in the atmosphere from various industrial sources. It goes on increasing. The total emission in the blue color one keeps moving itself. And of course, we are under a developing status. That is why sometime back, even the COP meeting 2015, our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, told climate justice. He used the word climate justice because all developed nations, they develop by polluting more, emitting more amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That's why he demanded for climate justice. This is again the transport sector. That's also causes huge amount of carbon dioxide. Our two-wheelers, four-wheelers, all this, including air travel, everything, you see there, 272 million tons of carbon dioxide is emitted into atmosphere from transport sector alone. If you put together all, as I told you, it increases very high amount. Even agriculture sector also, it also emit nearly third, of course, we are the third emitter in terms of agricultural. It's about 0.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide, okay, and comes to about roughly 14%. And mainly carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Not only carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide are the main culprit, comes from our agricultural sector. So this is a contribution from agricultural sector, various one, including rice cultivation, fermentation, manure, agriculture. All these things also contribute towards emission of not only carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide as well. Even our residential sector also, we emit carbon dioxide. You can see there, domestic wastewater also contribute, industrial wastewater, everything. Apart from solid waste, our wastewater also contributes carbon dioxide. So if you see the summary of per capita, we are far better than global thing. The global average per capita emission is about 6.76 tons of carbon dioxide per year per head. But look at India, we are less than 2 tons of carbon dioxide. It's about 1.9 tons of carbon dioxide alone we are emitting. But considering the population total, everything, it's huge, huge amount of carbon dioxide goes into atmosphere by us also. But China, United States, they are very, very far away. There is above the global average as well. Both China and United States, they exceeded the global average of 6.76, but we are nearly 1/4 of it, or 1/3 of it emission. Okay. And a lot of projection as well. What will be the future emission? And by middle of the century, the carbon dioxide emission is going to be 23 to 84 gigatons of carbon dioxide by middle of this century. In terms of carbon, it is going to be, just a minute. I'm sorry. The carbon, in terms of carbon dioxide, it is going to be 6 to 23 gigatons of carbon. And it is a simple mass balance of carbon to carbon dioxide. This is 12, that is 44. That's a difference. But you can see here, the range varies widely, 6 to 23 gigatons of carbon, 23 to 84 gigatons. And this range is very vast because it depends on how we are going to mitigate the emission of carbon dioxide. Globally, everybody is going for energy transition, green energy, or what is the amount of mitigation, even if conventional energy is there. Are we going to do some capture technology? So like this, depending on this, it may vary from 23 to 84 gigatons. Already there are news, it is inching towards 100 gigatons of carbon dioxide emission globally. And these are some model prediction based on assessment report 4, AR4, we call it popularly. There also you can see here, depending on the various concentration, these are all based on developed countries, least developed countries, developing countries. Like this, there are projections given, and you can see there the concentration by the end of this century as per AR4 is likely to touch 1000 ppm. Okay, it is going to be very, very horrible situation. Already even 425, we are not able to tolerate the impact of warming and other things. But suppose if it is doubled, see, imagine how it will be there. That is why globally, United Nations is speaking for restricted rise in temperature 1.5 or below 2 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, life will be miserable. That's what we ought to stabilize around 350 ppm. It's for comfortable. The moment it is already crossed 425, future also, it's in the increasing trend going to be very, very miserable. And this is a AR5 projection. And you can see there, RCP based on 4 RCP, representative concentration pathways they given. And the worst scenario, you can see that the concentration is 1300 ppm of carbon dioxide. Even if everything is assumed globally, we are going to mitigate carbon dioxide, even the best scenario, that is RCP 2.6, predicts about 475 ppm. And there also the temperature may rise up to, it varies from 2 to 6 degree rise will be there by the end of the century. This is all indicating a danger for us or for our future generation. And this is a very recent AR6 based one, SSP 5 scenario they have projected. And you can see there, by the end of this century, it is going to cross in terms of gigatons of carbon dioxide per year, it is going to cross 100 gigatons. That indicates definitely the situation will be very worst for comfortable living. Okay, at least we ought to bring to 40 gigatons by doing all this energy transition and capture and utilization of carbon dioxide, everything we have to do it, then only it is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible to restrict below 2 degree rise. So all this prediction and depends on various factors, that is economic growth, population growth, importance of mitigation effort, how the globally all countries are going to do it. And depending on that, the carbon dioxide concentration may come down if you are going to attempt all this. Yes. Now, in order to do this mitigation, all this, first we have to do some inventarization of carbon dioxide. What is their amount, a different sector or different things we are using it and putting into atmosphere. There are guidelines given, and as per this, the emission we have to find out for any activity. Let us assume our educational institute as well. Many educational institutes, they are going for this emission inventarization based on scope 1, 2, 3. And then if we know all this, then we can plan our carbon neutrality. Okay, how we can tackle it, where our emission comes from, where we can shift to greener aspects, where we can neutralize it and make it net zero emission. That's what globally it is, including educational institute, we have to go not only for industries. Okay, so it is divided into 3 scopes, scope 1, 2, and 3. Scope 1 and 2 are direct and straightforward. And whereas scope 3, it's somewhat difficult. It's not impossible, it's a little complicated, whatever methodology, everything. It takes care of entire life chain. So it's a bit challenging finding out the scope 3, but whereas scope 1 and 2 are relatively easy, especially scope 2 is very easy. Suppose we know what are the electricity used, that's what. Even though not in the particular place where it is generated, it is emitted, but whatever energy we use, that's what scope 2. And normally, suppose we use 1 unit, as per the Indian condition, it is equivalent to 0.8 kg of carbon dioxide. And scope 1, that's a direct emission. Suppose we use car, we are burning the fuel, emitting into this. Okay. And suppose in the campus, we use gases for hostel, at home we use for cooking, all these things also emitted. Okay. Similarly, air condition, all this, what are the things used? It's a scope 1. That's a direct emission of carbon dioxide. Scope 2 is the indirect, that comes from electricity. And scope 3 is really a bit complicated. It is in the part of life chain, one in which all our activities to be linked, a bit complicated. So if you do the inventarization, how much of carbon dioxide we in our activity we produce, definitely we can make some effort to make it neutrality or offset the value. So for example, if you know what is the amount of carbon dioxide, obviously including all educational institute, our main consumption is electricity. Okay. So we have to do something, reduce the uses of electricity. That's what the previous speaker in energy management also mentioned about energy conservation and energy saving. Okay. And definitely that's what to be focused, but still we require electricity. And how we can do it? Reduce the emission of carbon dioxide, transition towards greener energy, okay, like solar, wind, and other means, including now hydrogen. Hydrogen is considered as a green energy. Suppose we use greener way of making electrolysis. Normally, the method available is electrolysis of water. And especially those who are from Tamil Nadu, you might have seen on Salem, scientists is generating hydrogen from water. So that is the way we should move on. But the electricity for hydrolysis should come from a renewable like solar. Then only we can call it as a green hydrogen. That's what everything, they will reduce the emission of carbon dioxide. You have to do it, reduce it. And if not possible, definitely it is impossible to completely shift overnight. It will take some time, and we have to offset the excess carbon dioxide. That is nothing but, again, nature-based solution, planting more trees. Okay. So whatever the emitted carbon dioxide, we have to go and capture it in a natural way. Of course, engineered systems are there, but expensive and again energy intensive. So go for natural tree plantation. Through photosynthesis, plant materials can capture the carbon dioxide and store it in a biomass. Okay, so this is a way how we can make the emission as a carbon neutrality. So this is what I mentioned about direct emission and indirect emissions. That is scope 1, 2, 3. Now, let's move on to what are the consequences or the impact of climate change or effect of climate change? Globe is warming, that leads to consequent climate change. What are the impacts of this? One is temperature will continue to rise, right? Then frost-free season, that is growing season, will lengthen. Changes in precipitation pattern, rainfall pattern will change. More drought and heat waves, that is extreme events, will start happening in the form of droughts as well as heat waves. The hurricanes will become stronger and more intense. sea level will rise by about 1 to 4 feet by 2100, and Arctic area likely to become ice-free. These are the consequences of the warming effect. So these are all not a simple statement. Everything is based on scientific evidence they have collected, and they have come to this, all this important information about what are the things likely to happen over it. Already we started facing all this problem, and in due course, it is likely to be enhanced, and the impact are going to be very, very severe. So if you look at the previous one, if you take it, these are the three major one we ought to consider. One is temperature is likely to increase continuously. Okay. And all of you know the global current temperature. Earlier, it was about 15 degrees Celsius global. That is at daytime, nighttime, India, Europe, Asia, everything put together. If you take the average, it was about 15 degrees Celsius. Now it increased to 1.3 to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That means it is close to 17 degrees Celsius. The average, all season put together, that is what. But look at, even at 17, we are not able to tolerate many things. And suppose the globe is going to warm by 6 degrees Celsius, think of it. We cannot be in the system. Not only we, entire living things cannot survive here. This is the impact of temperature. Then comes sea level rise. Okay. Our sea level rise also continuously per year. Now 3 millimeter of sea level is globally increasing across the world, mainly due to warming, because sea surface temperature is also increasing, and that means volume expansion. If the water is increased, there will be a volume increase. That's also rises. And the other factor is, main factor is all the Arctic and other thing, wherever the ice is melting, ultimately it has to drain to the sea. So these two factors, that is melting of ice, reaches sea, similarly warming, expansion, these two causes sea level rise. And the third factor is precipitation. Okay, a lot of variation is going to happen. That's a major observation globally, and a very intense fall of rainfall is likely to happen. And now itself, we started witnessing many things. And earlier monsoon, especially in southern India, northeast monsoon is likely to happen over a period of 3 months. I'm sorry, 3 months from October, November, December. And this is a main season for us, and likely to get nearly 60% of the overall rainfall this season. Is it happening now? No. Whatever 3 months, 3 days, we are getting the rains in very intense rainfall in 3 days, and ultimately everything goes into the sea, Bay of Bengal. This is happening in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so all these three combined have a potential impact on the natural resources, and ultimately going to affect everything. Just look at each one of this. Health system, how it is going to be impacted. You just see the temperature. Summer, the temperature, many a part of India crossing 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, many elderly people are dying because of this. Every year, thousands, especially Andhra, our neighboring state, Andhra, many people, Rajasthan, many, thousands of people are killed because of very high temperature. And that is during summer. What about rainy season? Again, they have an impact. Rainy season, spread of disease, vector-borne disease. Everything is going to be increased. Many people are dying because of this infectious disease due to the contamination of sewage and other things. Similarly, air quality, respiratory illness also increases. All this because of climate change. Then come to very important sector, agriculture. For a very good agriculture, both the temperature should not be very high, precipitation should be optimum. Then only our agriculture will prosper. Okay. Is it happening? No. Especially recent time, lot of changes happening, precipitation, no rain or very high rainfall. So too much of rain or no rain or the highly impacting the agriculture and the crop yield. Okay. And irrigation demands is also increases, especially monsoon failure that leads to a lot of failure in agriculture related crop yield. And that is what going to be a problem. This is ultimately socio-economic factor. Many people started migrating to different places where greener fortunes are there. They are moving towards that particular place. And globally, everybody start migrating. It is going to be a huge problem. So agriculture should be paid attention, and we have to adapt to that, live to that, and then get proper yield of this. Not only agriculture, coming to the forest sector, okay, this is also going to be impacted by climate change. Similar to agriculture, the forest, wood and other things also going to be affected. Think of Amazon, every year forest fire is happening. And this is against climate, because of climate change only. And for a frequent forest fire going to destroy this entire forest where huge amount of carbon dioxide is captured. Is it not? Not only carbon dioxide is sequestered, it liberates oxygen. Amazon forest provides huge amount of oxygen for our breathing, and these are all going to be impacted. Okay, so the whatever the 21% oxygen may go decreasing if our forest system is not protected. Similarly, water resource, as I told you, are linked to not only agriculture, for our survival, everything. Water supply is very important, and it's coupled with the water quality. Drought is there, definitely sea level rise is there. Our water going to be saline in nature. Okay, both drought and sea level rise will affect the quality. Salinity will increase. Now itself, many places our water becomes salinity. Think of these very high impact of this, and definitely it will accelerate many places. It will be the situation will be very worst. Similarly, come to the coastal area, as I said, sea level rise, flooding, all this going to be a erosion of beaches. Many parts of the world, including in Chennai, Ennur area and other part, sea erosion started happening. And inundation of the coastal inland is also going to be a problem, because many places, the sea level rise, inundation will be happening. Plus, what are the water, just now I mentioned the water quality is also going to be affected. So these are the problem. Again, glacier and other things melting will happening. This is in this one slide summarizes all the impact of climate change on our natural system. Again, impacts on air quality. The climate change is going to increase forest wildfire, and that is going to be a very danger. Carbon dioxide, more carbon dioxide will be emitted, plus particulate matter also will be there, and degrading the air quality, coupled with the carbon monoxide, air pollutants also will be there. And rising temperature is going to have the breathing problem, everything, and especially going to accelerate the formation of ozone at ground level. That's unwanted. Ozone is a good if it is present in the stratosphere, considered good. But suppose ozone is present in our troposphere, it is viewed as a polluted. Similarly, changes in wind pattern is also expected because of the acceleration warming effect. Even the wind pattern may change. And also, longer allergen seasons also may be there. Allergic comes from the plant growth also, there. So air quality, whatever air we breathe, also likely to be impacted due to climate change. And this slide tells you about what are the impact of air quality, premature death, that is a ground ozone formation due to high temperature, smog formation, forest fire, and all this. So leads to premature death, chest pain, and all this asthma-related events may there. Okay, and many changes happening in the atmosphere, and that leads to breathing and affects our health problem. Even water impacts on hydrology. It is going to be disturbed by water cycle. Water is cycling in the environment, that is ocean, atmosphere, everywhere water is present. And this is also going to be altered. The precipitation pattern is going to be there affected, melting of snow and ice, sea level rise, increased water temperature, all this is a part of this. So ultimately, water, if you look at it, this is also a kind of greenhouse gas. Even though it is in equilibrium, not much disturbance. If more amount of water is evaporated, temperature is going to be there. Definitely more water will evaporate into the atmosphere, and this is going to accelerate the extreme rainfall. In a single day, 90 centimeter, 100 centimeter rainfall, that is normally for one season, 1 year, it may be there. The chances of getting extreme rainfall due to the warming and increase the evaporation. Ultimately, it goes to atmosphere condense, causing very high rainfall. And green space also likely to be impacted due to climate change. And because all this warming, non-availability of water will have a stress on this vegetation. Drought, heat waves, and changes in rainfall also affect. And shift in ecosystem also will be there. Increased wildfire and urban heat island. This is another problem in cities. That is heat island, that's a climate change within the city itself. In a smaller area where water body or greenery there, they will be more cool. The other part of this particular city will be a high warming area. This is a major problem observed throughout the globe, including Chennai. Okay, and those who are familiar with the Chennai, our Raj Bhavan or Anna University or IIT, all these are all comes under the forest area. Really, that place is cool area. Okay, and other part, if you move other developed area, there it will be warm. So these type of wherever greenery and water bodies are there, they will have a cooling. Other part, there is no greenery, no water bodies, it is going to be warm. So this is called what is called heat island. There is climate change within the city itself. And these are all going to be a part of this system. So if we look at all these impacts, whatever the temperature, precipitation, it's all region specific. Okay? It's not universal. There are variation in temperature as well as precipitation pattern itself. So these things, depending on the particular location, that is latitude and altitude especially, and the shape of the land, whether it is plain or hilly terrain, currents and winds, and distance from the sea, all this affects the particular area, especially in terms of temperature and precipitation. And we have a general pattern. This is now altered due to climate change. So ultimately, overall impact of climate change that leads to socio-economic condition of the people also. And especially the poor are going to be affected more. And compared to rich people, they are affordable. They can escape from the impact of climate change. But think of poor people, they have to relocate. If those who are living at the coastal area, definitely sea level rise will impact them, and they have to look for other places. Even agricultural area where monsoon failure, continuous monsoon failure will affect the agriculture. Even farmers have to shift. So this is going to be a overall, if you look at it, socio and economic impact of climate change is going to affect all nations, especially poor people. So now, so considering all this, whatever I have told you, what are the climate change, what are the scientific evidences, what are the impacts, all this, now all of us have to act. Okay. One is, and that is the global commitments to overcome the impact of this climate change. What is likely to take? That's, we'll have a brief look at it. I hope I can complete. I will reserve 15 minutes for any questions or interaction. Later part, I will try to complete by 9:15. Then we will have a short interaction for 10 to 15 minutes. So now, who is the, somebody has to act. Okay, it's a people movement. Everybody have to be part of it, but still somebody has to take lead and do something on this. Okay, so globally, IPCC has taken the lead. It's a UN organization again. That's the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, popularly called IPCC. They provide scientific assessment on climate change. Okay, so bring out assessment report. Just now, earlier I was talking about model related to AR4, AR5, AR6, and all. They provide this scientific basis. Okay, so IPCC is the nodal agency to provide these scientific evidences, and highlights need to limit warming to 1.5. Restrict the rising temperature below 1.5, that is from the above pre-industrial era. That is 15 to 17 degrees Celsius, we have to restrict. So these are the two things they have warned us. IPCC has warned us, and we have to do something, mitigate the greenhouse gases so that we can restrict the rise in temperature below at least 2 degrees Celsius. That is safe. The concentration is around 350 ppm of carbon dioxide. So now, IPCC is a policy related, providing scientific assessment. So whatever they are telling, somebody has to implement it, is it not? So that is why another UN body, it's all interlinked, okay? COP, that's called Conference of Parties. It's a part of UN, United Nations FCCC. Okay? And they, whatever the IPCC tell, they try to unite all the countries and bring out policy asking the countries to do something on this. Okay, so every year COP meeting, Conference of Parties meetings are happening. That's annual one, that United Nations Climate Summit, to negotiate agreements among the countries in line with the IPCC scientific evidences. So in a way, it's a decision-making body to tell all the global nations do something to overcome the impact of climate change. And similarly, SDGs also in this direction, Sustainable Development Goals. There are, all of us know, 17 goals, especially goal number 7, that directly talks about green energy. Okay, and SDGs 13 talks about climate action related one, that is urgent action to combat the climate change and its impacts, and that integration of climate goals, but the poverty reduction, clean energy, and sustainable cities, etc. So these are the one organization, IPCC, COP, and SDGs are bringing out. We have to do something to make it climate resilient globe. So climate action, as per the 13, there are, we have to do strongly move towards including energy transition, green energy, and other base. Also, we have to do act on this, do something. Even if thermal power stations are there, we have to do capturing that and stop all this different indicators. They have set it, and to stop all the climate related disaster, that is very high rainfall, drought, extreme heat events, all this, we have to do something. That's nothing but act towards climate action. So in the policy related UN body, just a little elaboration onto this, what they are doing. There are 195 member states, that is countries are there as a part of the intergovernmental panel, including India. We are also members of this. And they formed different groups called Working Group 1, 2, and 3, and also Special Task Force. The task force group, the 1.5 to 2 degree, they are responsible on greenhouse gas inventariation of, I was mentioning earlier about scope 1, 2, 3. It is their responsibility. Okay. Whereas the other working group, group 1, 2, 3, they talks about group 1, physical science basis, and group 2, the impact of climate change, adaptation and vulnerability of this climate, and working group 3 on mitigation aspect, how we can mitigate the greenhouse gases, and the special task force is the one on greenhouse gas inventariation and high warning temperature, all this. Okay, so all the countries' scientists, top leading scientists, they assemble and do this. Of course, the United Nations, this group, IPCC, is a part of WMO, that's the World Meteorological Organization, and INUP, United Nations and Environmental Protection Agency, all part of UN. And this IPCC brings out a lot of scientific information related one, starting from first assessment report on climate change they brought out in the early 1990. Second one, assessment report in 1995. Third assessment THOR in 2001. Fourth one, 2007. Fifth one, 13, 14, and 2022 one, and the assessment report 6. All these reports are available in the IPCC website. You can IPCC website, you can browse and can find all these reports. Of course, the current one, all this, suppose you want to enhance your knowledge, you can go to the early part, but the latest one is sufficient, in which all the scientific related ones are there. Coming to COP, Conference of Parties, and this was the one started in 1995 in Berlin, first COP meeting. Then every year, almost all year, continuously COP meetings are there. Some of the significant outcome of this COP meeting alone, I will touch upon. Here, the COP21, Paris Agreement, you can see here, it was happening 2015, Paris Agreement, that is in line with the task force. We have to restrict the temperature below 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius. This is an agreement almost all countries, they signed, including India, aim to limit the warming below and do a lot of mitigation related. And as a part of this, all the nation, they have, during that time, what is called INDC, Indented Nationally Determined Contribution, they had given all countries, and subsequently it was ratified and it has become nationally determined contribution. Okay, and all countries, they have to agree. Even India agreed to this one, to limit the emission. What was there in the 2005 level, we want to restrict at least 30% by 2030. In another 5 years, we have to restrict the emission of carbon dioxide. What was there in 2005, about 30%. By India promised, do it by nature-based solution. As I told you before, one is on solar or renewable energy. The other one is increasing the green cover. These are the two things India committed we will achieve that way. And after that also, a lot of things happened. And 26th COP meeting that was held at Glasgow, UK. And there also, they talked about again to restrict what is the term, net zero emission, net zero carbon. That was the one. People agreed to that. And many countries, especially developed countries, including Europe, US, all agreed to make the country net zero carbon by 2050. that was insisted upon. And few countries, including India, they asked time. China 2060, they agreed to do it by make a net zero carbon by 2060, but we requested more time. By 2070, we will become carbon neutral. That's the 26th COP meeting. And subsequently, UAE also meeting held. And next meeting, the COP 30th meeting, is likely to be held at Brazil. Okay, every year, usually the November or December time, the COP meeting will be held. And those who are interested, please try to attend this COP meeting, Brazil. If you have some connection, you can do it. We need not present any papers. Okay, if you have interest, some NGO has to recommend, then you can attend this COP meeting too. Otherwise, through government agencies, through government. So this main UNFCCC, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, all determined through this, and NDC also net zero that by 2050, yeah, 6 as a part of this. So these are the main outcome, the Kyoto Protocol to reduce greenhouse emission, Paris Agreement, NDC, and net zero. These are the outcome of this global engagement. So coming now to how we can do it. India, we committed to the United Nations, we will become net zero carbon emission by 2070. This is what we committed to them. And of course, we are progressing. Focus is mainly on renewable energy expansion. Okay, and the target is by 2030, at least 500 gigawatts of energy will be from through renewable energy. Major investment likely to be held in solar, wind, and hydropower. Okay, and now green hydrogen also coming into the picture. So definitely it is possible to go for 500 gigawatts by 2030. And then the previous speaker also talked about energy efficiency, etc. So I will skip. So this is the one. Next, Government of India is planning to focus on this. Electrification and clean transport is another one through which already I told you nearly 250 million tons of carbon dioxide alone comes from transport sector, and we have to go for a push. Now a lot of electric vehicle are coming into market. For this also, Government of India is giving a lot of subsidy, but unfortunately what is happening is now all these electric vehicles are charged by conventional power. Okay, and this charging should come from solar or renewable, then only it is possible to achieve. Otherwise, it's not. Similarly, forestation and carbon sink, that is increase the forest cover to absorb more of carbon dioxide. And Government of India also, especially from education sector, one student, one tree program was initiated by this government some time back. This is also going up, but a few challenges are there. Okay, so definitely increasing the green cover is one of the major one, from 2.5 billion tons to increase it to about 3 billion tons of sequestration potential through Green India mission. Also, policy and financing on green hydrogen. India wants to take the lead on green hydrogen. We have plenty of sunlight available almost throughout the year. And if we couple the solar with the water, electrolysis, and we can go for green hydrogen, this is a one. And carbon market also, CDM, climb, and all these things will help in this. And again, international cooperation, okay, that is active participation, global climate negotiation, as well as not only negotiation, even in partnership, wherever required, we have to join with the other group in which all these things will pave a way to achieve faster. So these are the things India a roadmap to achieve net zero carbon. But few things just I want to elaborate. Another 5 minutes I will take to complete it. So if you little go back, our climate action started in the year 2008 and formulating what is called National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay, and this was initiated and mainly to focusing on mitigate and adapt to the adverse impact of the climate change. And starting, there were 8 missions related to achieve this. There are 8 missions. That is a National Water Mission, Mission on Sustainable Himalayan Ecosystem, Strategic Acknowledgement on Climate Change, and National Solar Mission, National Mission on Enhanced Energy Efficiency, and on Sustainable Habitat, Sustainable Agriculture, Green India Mission, and later on, even Coastal Mission. Okay, National Coastal Mission also added apart from this 8 mission. So all these 8 missions acts and this. And as I said before, as a part of this COP meeting, we committed to reduce 33 to 35% of emission. What was there originally in 2005? And the NDC also submitted, that is in 2005, this is the amount of carbon dioxide emission was there, and we have to reduce. But unfortunately, 2016, it increased from 1.6 to or 1.8 to 2.5. So this now things are happening. We are moving in a faster rate. India aims to achieve at least 175 gigawatts of renewable energy by this 2030, and already we are in a good position. Reached 2021. I don't know the current data, but nearly 140 gigawatts already achieved through mainly solar mission alone. There are wind and other things. Definitely, it is possible to achieve 500 gigawatts in another 5 years' time. And 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide through forest cover. And long-term goal is net zero by 2070. This is what Government of India. But in my opinion, if things are accelerated, definitely we can achieve this by well before the other developed countries agree to 2050. I think by 2047, as per our Viksit Bharat, definitely Government of India is taking steps more by we can achieve by 2047. So if you look at it, we want to become by 2047, this is a energy $30 trillion US dollar. That is about rupees 250 trillion economy by the 2057, and net zero by emission 2070, and energy dependence by 2047. That is, energy dependence by 2047 indicates almost we achieve the target of net zero, because as I told you before, it's all energy is the main culprit. Okay. So importance of decarbonization. Okay. Moving towards the green energy, do the job of carbonization is not there. It reduces the climate risk, boosts a green job because of all this energy related. They provide a lot of job potential, definitely, and enhances energy security as well, because we depend on solar, and definitely we have more bright sunshine almost throughout the year. That's possible. So if you look at the pillars of decarbonized growth for India, that is 500 gigawatts of energy through green hydrogen, and battery also can supplement apart from renewable sources. Okay, so that also, if it comes green hydrogen, definitely we are far better than countries, and we can take a global lead on green hydrogen. And then sustainable mobility side, electric vehicle and mass transport should come, and there also should be powered by green energy. Then only Now, currently, they can avoid air pollution related issue, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, but still the source is conventional thermal power station, which is not green. Similarly, industry, green industry and infrastructure, where low carbon manufacturing building, all this thing should be part of it. So natural climate solution, if you look at it, forest conservation is the one which is a carbon sink. Whatever emitted carbon dioxide can be captured through this natural way through photosynthesis. And a lot of policy and innovation also required. Policy, but coupled with the innovation enablers should play in this, like a national hydrogen mission and other thing, carbon market, EV, solar, energy efficiency norm, all this policy is there and they should be accelerated. And technological levers like AI and IoT and energy optimization. Okay. This is also very, very important, in which for energy efficiency, this is AI tool, now modern thing, they should play a role. And transition to 3/4 of the renewable energy capacity by 47, that is 100 years of our independence, we should be achieved. I believe it's possible 3/4 comes from renewable energy. And whatever rest is there, if you go for carbon capture and utilization, definitely we can make zero carbon emission. That is, circular economy approaches also helps, because utilization carbon dioxide is a valuable material. We can get a lot of chemicals out of it. So responding to climate change, ultimately, one is mitigation, the other one is adaptation. Mitigation, that's what I told you in the previous points, green energy transition or carbon dioxide capture and utilization. And this should be attempted by all countries. Mitigation, not only India or few countries, everybody globally should go for towards mitigation. Then only we can create what is called a low carbon society that is avoiding the unmanageable. Next come the other method of management of climate change. Whatever things happening, the impact, we try to adjust to the condition and live. That is adaptation, refers to the action taken to manage the unavoidable impact of climate change. Here it is region specific, not universal. Whatever the particular region, what else going to be impacted, and accordingly you have to create adaptive measures and make it climate resilient society, through which both mitigation and adaptation should go in parallel. And of course, priority should be mitigation. That is a prevention technique. Prevention is better than cure. So road ahead for India and globally, energy, that is energy, environment, economy, education, all this sustainable development goals related thing, if we pay attention, and education is the first one, and economy, and pay attention towards energy and environment, definitely part of this thing, or almost everything can be eliminated, which comes the impact of climate change. And the best one is conserve and save energy and water. Both are very, very important. Energy saved is equivalent to carbon dioxide minimized. Similarly, water saved and conserved, and whatever the impact of climate change on water system, rainfall, we can manage with that. Okay. So all these things going to create a lot of opportunities and more green jobs for Indian youngsters, and global leadership in renewable technology, especially green hydrogen. India can play a lot, and improved air, water, and public health because of all these activities. And there are some challenges, okay? And ours is a developing nation, still we have not reached one. And financing, the green transition is one of the challenge. Money is a problem, and of course we can overcome this. So balancing growth with equity definitely will help, and climate regulation, resilience, and adaptation is ultimately we can achieve through all these ways. So decarbonize growth, that's energy without carbon dioxide. It's not just a climate imperative, it is one of the huge opportunity. It is going to provide a lot of jobs and drive our nation in future. So thank you for your patient listening. And I will stop here. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Hello.
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
madam. Yes. Thank you, madam. I have completed. If the participants are having some clarification.
Participants, if you have any queries, please raise your hand. You will be unmuted and then you can ask. Participants, please utilize this session. Sir is ready to answer. Sir, what role do you see
Yes.
for renewable energy and green nitrogen in India's journey towards net zero, sir?
Definitely lot of scope, madam. This is what Government of India is planning. They have started here. A green hydrogen mission also government has started, and a lot of things. But small challenges there. The hydrogen production is about 60 to 70% yield is there as per the thing. But definitely we scientists, if we pay attention, we can improve to 80% so that cost will come down. Just now, I don't know, initially I was telling from Salem, one scientist, he started a green hydrogen mission, including stove, all this thing. This is a WhatsApp circulation for the last 10 days, as well as news item also in TV. Our actor Sarath Kumar is also one of the partner to this, and they have gone for this. So definitely many people should come like this. Definitely government will support, and future India is also, one train is likely to be run with a hydrogen powered train is also ready.
Okay.
But it will take some time. Slowly they are mentioning it's possible. And future, all our stove and all will be run by water.
Okay.
So there will be electrolyzer. We have to add water. It will do the hydrolysis, split water, produce hydrogen in the cathode, and that will be taken, and we can use it for all purposes.
Super, sir. Super, sir. Sir, one more question.
Yes, please.
What can students and young researchers do at their individual level to support sustainability goals?
In terms of this, in terms of energy and climate change, is it not, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So as a student, as well as we have to go for minimize the use of energy from thermal power station. We have to go for solar, and many institute nowadays they are going for a green grid, purchase of power not from thermal power station. And slowly, at least 25%, 30%, many institute are buying this. We have to move towards that. Wherever possible, we have to go for solar. At home also, now up to 2 kilowatt, government is giving huge subsidy. So all students should inform their parents, we should go for solar driven. At least if you start like this, definitely we can minimize the power requirement from thermal power station, so that whatever future expansion, we can go for this. Solar, hydrogen, wherever wind, of course, there is a limitation. It is only seasonal. We all know this. But still, that time we can stop this hydrogen, all this. Wherever wind is favorable, we can use that wind energy and stop hydrogen. If wind is not favorable, we can go for hydrogen or solar. So like this, we have to go for thing of hybrid system also.
Yes. Yes.
And huge market is there, in my opinion. Student energy, future energy, green energy, students will have a lot of opportunities.
Yes, sir. Participants, any queries? Sir, I think no questions from participant side.
All are hungry. I believe all are hungry.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Respected
madam.
Professor
Thank you.
K. Palanivelu, sir, on behalf of the organizing team and all the participants, I take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt gratitude for his insightful and thought-provoking lecture on climate change cause, consequence, and global commitments, IPCC, COP, and SDGs. India's roadmap to net zero. Sir, your session has provided us with a deeper understanding of the urgent realities of climate change, its far reaching impacts, and the collective global effects required to address it, especially consequence effects of climate change due to warming effect. The way you connected international commitments such as the IPCC frameworks, COP negotiations, and sustainable development goals with India's ambitious net zero roadmap has given us a clear perspective on the challenges ahead as well as the opportunities for innovation, policy, and research. Your rich academic and research experience added immense value to this session, making it not only informative but also inspiring. The clarity with which you presented complex issues and the solutions you were highlighted for building a sustainable future will surely motivate us and contribute meaningfully in our respective domains. We are especially grateful for your time, your patient responses to our queries, and your encouragement to think beyond the classroom and research lab towards real world implementation. On behalf of everyone present here, I once again extend our sincere thanks to you, sir, for sharing your wisdom and vision with us. We look forward to many more opportunities to learn from your expertise. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Your vote of thanks also was equally as equivalent to the introductory part. Thank you very much for your appreciative words.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, please turn on your video. Let me take a photo session for
I can
this.
leave, madam. I can leave.
Sir, you can also
Oh,
turn
okay.
on
Okay.
your. Sir, can you stop the PPT, sir?
Yes. Yes. Just a minute.
Badran, sir?
I'm there,
Shall
madam.
we-
We'll be taking it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sir. Participants, please turn on your mic. Sorry, video. I really thank all the participants for your patient listening.
Yeah. Thank you. I have taken it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let us see tomorrow for a new session.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir. Thank you,
participants.
everyone.
Thank you. Badran, sir, shall we close the session?
Yes, I'm ending the session. Yeah. Thank you,
Oh,
madam.
okay, okay.